If you had asked me a while ago whether I liked card games, I would have said no, but after testing a few on Android, I can honestly say that today this is probably one of my favorite RPG styles on the platform. In this video, I'm going to show you the best card games for Android, so drop a like and come along with me. Let's start with one of my personal favorites. I got completely addicted to it, and it's crazy how almost no one talks about this game. It's still very unknown. Let's talk about ZOLD.out. The biggest difference in ZOLD.out is the battlefield itself. Unlike games like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, movement isn't limited to squares or hexagons. You can move your characters freely in 360 degrees within their range. Each character uses a deck of cards that represents different weapons and abilities. There are more than 200 weapon cards you can combine. Characters are divided into 4 main classes, and the real strategy comes from how you mix weapon decks with each hero's unique abilities. The game strongly encourages creativity. This game is simply one of the most polished and well-designed card games you'll find on Android. ZOETI is a game that blends turn-based RPG, roguelike elements, and a core mechanic based on poker, which already tells you it's also a card game. And now let's talk about it. Unlike most card games where each card represents a specific ability, fire, shield, and so on, in ZOETI you play with a standard 52 card deck. To activate your abilities, you need to form poker hands. For example, a pair can trigger a basic defense, while a full house or a flush unleashes a devastating attack. You draw cards every turn and must carefully manage what to use right away and what to save in order to aim for a stronger combo like a royal flush on the next turn. The game features 3 main heroes, each with very different mechanics and playstyles. For example, the knight is focused on solid defense, heavy armor, and powerful counterattacks. YUGIOH. Master Duel is currently Konami's official and definitive platform for the global competitive Yu-Gi-Oh scene, and right now it's easily one of the best card games on the Playstore. Let's talk about it. The game is extremely popular for being very free-to-play friendly. You can dismantle cards you don't want to earn crafting materials and create any card in the game, removing the heavy reliance on pack luck. It also features an excellent solo mode, perfect for beginners. This mode tells the stories behind the card artworks and rewards you with cards and gems, basically functioning as a story mode. That said, the game truly shines in ranked mode, where you face players from all over the world. In 2026, Master Duel continues to evolve with frequent updates, and it's without a doubt one of the biggest and best Yu-Gi-Oh games still active today, fully supported by Konami. This is a game that has an anime I honestly don't know much about, but even so I got really addicted to it. Let's talk about YOHANE the PARHELION. The game was released in early 2024 and is a deck-building roguelike. YOHANE finds a magical mirror and is pulled into Uranumazu, an inverted world where magic is controlled by cards. There, she must face evil versions of her friends in order to save them in the real world. You choose different paths on a map that changes with every run. Combat is turn-based and fully card-driven, using skill and magic cards. The game also features a summon card system to call allies, along with amulets that provide powerful passive bonuses. It would probably work even better if I knew the characters and their dialogue more deeply, but even without that connection, this card game is extremely addictive. TEPPEN is an extremely unique collectible card game developed by Capcom, and it's honestly very underrated. Let's talk about it. TEPPEN isn't based on traditional turn-based gameplay. Instead, you have to stay alert at all times. For example, when you or your opponent plays an action card, a magic, or support, time stops and the game enters a rapid response mode moment where both players can chain cards to counter effects or protect themselves. The gameplay really stands out because of its massive crossover appeal. You can have Ryu fighting alongside Jill Valentine against Dante and Albert Wesker. Each hero represents a specific color and playstyle, adding a lot of strategic depth. One piece of good news is that Capcom plans to release an update that will allow TEPPEN to be played offline, possibly as soon as 2026. Slay the Spire is simply the father of modern deck-building games with roguelike elements. Anyone who truly enjoys card games ends up addicted to this one, and now let's talk about it. You choose a character and begin climbing the spire. The map is made up of branching paths that lead to battles, random events, campfires where you can rest or upgrade cards, and shops. You start with a very basic deck made of attacks and defenses. After every victory, you choose a new card to add to your deck. The real secret is building synergies with the different cards the game offers you along the way. Unlike many other games, you always know what the enemy is going to do on the next turn. Whether they'll attack, defend, or apply a debuff. It might seem predictable at first, but this actually adds a much deeper tactical layer to the gameplay. The game is challenging, but it almost never feels unfair. If you lose, you can usually pinpoint exactly where you made a mistake and how you built your deck. This is said to be one of the most famous card games in the world. It's often called the Japanese Hearthstone due to its similar interface. Let's talk about Shadowverse. Shadowverse's biggest standout feature is its evolution system. During a match, you gain evolution points that let you evolve your followers, boosting their stats and activating powerful effects in the same turn. The game features 8 original classes, each with a completely unique playstyle. Every class feels distinct. For example, Swordcraft uses armies of soldiers and knights with strong tribal synergies, while Portalcraft manipulates futuristic artifacts and cards that didn't originally start in your deck. It may seem a bit complex at first, but it becomes really interesting once you learn how it works. And on top of that, the game offers a massive story campaign and even has a global esports scene. Released globally in 2024, this game stood out for its dark, gothic atmosphere, and now let's talk about MORIMENS. The game takes place in a world slowly being consumed by the dissolution, a mysterious phenomenon that erases existence, consciousness, and memories. However, since this is an online gacha game, the story ends up working more as a background element rather than the main focus. That said, the art direction is outstanding. It features a gothic, Victorian, and surreal anime style, creating a constant sense of mystery and cosmic horror. Unlike many roguelites where you control only a single character, in Morimens you build a team of up to 4 characters. The game also includes a PvP mode that works very differently from the story mode, feeling much closer to a traditional competitive card game similar to Hearthstone, and the community really seems to enjoy the PvP side of the game. Looking at this game from afar, it's almost impossible to imagine that it's a card game, and that's exactly why I'm here to introduce it to you. Let's talk about Moonstone Island. You play as a young alchemist who, following the tradition of their village, must leave home and spend an entire year on a floating island to complete their training. The world is made up of more than 100 procedurally generated floating islands. You travel between them using balloons, flying brooms, or a glider. Each island has different biomes, resources, and dungeons. Instead of traditional farm animals, you tame spirits that live in the wild. There are over 70 different types, and they work almost like Pokemon. Battles against other spirits are fully turn-based and of course completely card-based. It's also worth remembering that this game offers much more than just card battles. It's a full life simulation as well. I honestly didn't know this either, but this game is actually a spin-off of a browser-based MMORPG. Let's talk about MARGONEN Adventures. Unlike the original MMORPG, combat here is fully focused on deck building. You create a deck of abilities and attacks, and during battles you need to use your cards strategically to defeat monsters and bosses. This is the only game on our list that combines real-time action with card game mechanics. It also features a very addictive loot system where you find weapons and armor that can be upgraded to make your character stronger for higher level dungeons. In addition to the card system, you can level up your hero and unlock passive upgrades. It's a relatively simple card game, but it works very well within its original proposal. Somewhere in the world, there must be people who really love this game because it's honestly incredible that it hasn't shut down despite being almost completely unknown. Let's talk about HIGAN, ERUTHYLL. The game takes place on the planet ERUTHYLL, a world where magic and technology coexist. The story revolves around the fight against the fantasy, a mysterious phenomenon that traps people in eternal dreams. Unlike other card games on our list, this one places a strong focus on storytelling. Battles happen in real time, but when you select a skill, time slows down dramatically. This allows you to aim spells, position area attacks, and interrupt enemy abilities with precision, something you can already notice just by watching the gameplay. Visually, the game is stunning, featuring detailed 3D models and ultimate skill animations that look like they came straight out of an anime movie. Chaos Zero Nightmare is one of the most impactful releases of late 2025 and is currently one of the most well-known card games on the Playstore. Let's talk about it. You play as the captain of a ship called Nightmare, leading a group of agents on dangerous missions inside contaminated zones to prevent humanity from being wiped out, which is why you end up facing some seriously well-designed monsters. The core structure of the game is a tactical deck-building RPG with roguelike elements, and it's completely non-automatic, giving you full control at all times. You move through board-like maps where every step can trigger a battle, a narrative event, or a valuable resource, creating incredible replayability. And more than that, the cards themselves can completely change the course of the run, the characters, and the strategy, which is exactly why this game is so impressive and one of the best card games available right now. Let's now talk about a very simple card game, and honestly these are often the best ones, simple, fast, and fun. Let's talk about Card Guardians. The story takes place in the kingdom of Valentia, which has been corrupted by the magic of chaos. You play as a hero who must travel through different regions such as forests, deserts and castles to defeat the Guardians of Chaos and restore peace. You start with basic attack and defense cards, and as you defeat enemies you choose new cards to strengthen your deck during that run. Unlike some pure roguelikes where you lose everything when you die, Card Guardians features permanent progression. As you progress you unlock new heroes and rarer cards that start appearing in the dungeons. It's an excellent game to kill time while traveling, especially because it can be played completely offline. One of the most complex and also one of the most interesting and mature games on our list. Let's now talk about Ash of Gods Redemption. The game takes place in a world called TEPPEN, which is facing the harvest, an apocalyptic event where ancient gods and immortal creatures return to purge humanity. The game is famous for its brutal choice system. Almost any character can die, including the protagonist, and the story continues without them, adapting to those losses. That said, the game features 3 different protagonists whose paths eventually cross. Unlike traditional RPGs where you only attack an enemy's health, combat in Ash of Gods is all about resource management. You can target both a character's health and their energy, disabling them instead of killing them outright. The game is simply outstanding but also very complex. This game is absolutely stunning from a visual standpoint, without a doubt one of the most beautiful anime style games I've ever seen. Let's talk about Ash of Echoes. Unlike many mobile RPGs that are purely turn-based, Ash of Echoes focuses on dynamic tactical combat. I'd even say it's almost a tower defense at times. You position your characters on the battlefield and can move them and activate abilities in real time with skill usage similar to what you see in HIGAN, ERUTHYLL. One of the most unique, innovative and complex systems in Ash of Echoes is its progression design. The game doesn't use the traditional character leveling system to increase stats, which can feel confusing at first if you're used to classic RPGs, but once it clicks, you realize just how different and interesting this approach really is. If you enjoy card games, now you know there's something here for everyone. If any of these games caught your attention, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.